Sean and Joe, another episode ready to go. They're gonna talk about the good and the trash and anything in between. Cherishing make-believe, get ready for Halloween. It's the horror show. I know you missed those guys. Tune in and find out what's on their list tonight. They butcher and dissect, take apart and mutilate. Listen to your two favorite brainiacs communicate. It's the horror show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Horror Show, the show that dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not-so-favorite horror movies and other horror-related events. I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
Hello, Joe.
What's going on?
Nothing. We're doing this through video this time, which we talked about last week. We actually get to see each other, which is an interesting dynamic.
First time
for a while.
Since like 2016, right?
It's been a while. It's been a long time. I wonder if it'll help, like, when you see me, like, fucking regurgitating over here. And then, as the fans don't know, because I usually edit it out, but, like, I fucking, like, I'll like, Joe will hear silence for a minute, and then, like, he'll try and pick up the conversation, because he's like, Sean literally just stopped speaking. But, no, he could, like, read me and see me fucking almost vomiting over here.
There we go.
Hey. Oh, and by the way, speaking of bodily functions while we're recording.
Ooh la la.
Peep. You might have heard some tinkling sounds on the last episode. Despite the messages, THS was adamant that I was using the bathroom. I was not. I was using a box of wine, which pours heavy. It was a brand new box, which has never picked up on mic before until this time. And by the way, I did hear it during editing and just did nothing about it. It was so fucking loud. It sounded like I was using the bathroom, but I was not. I was, I mean, as you could, that's why I didn't edit it out. Cause I was like, who's going to think I was peeing? I'm recording a show. Like 18 messages being like, who was pissing on Mike? Anyway, also I got some messages about me using the phrase, the way I say baby, which I guess I didn't really even pick up on, but recently there's been people being like, I love it. I love that Sean sang it. It's like the new, whatever what was the other thing? Son of a bitch.
Piece of shit.
Piece of shit. They were like, baby.
And you haven't been saying that lately. Damn.
I know. And I think it's like subconsciously, like, I'm that person that's like, don't say it. I don't know. But like, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I've been saying baby, I guess, in a way. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Gonna keep saying it. Baby. So anyway, that's it. Oh, hey, do we want to plug? I mean, I guess it's too late now. You have to plug it.
No.
Our buddy, fan of the show, James Dean. Did he?
Yeah. I just threw that up on my Instagram stories. He made a movie, a exploitation flick.
Yeah.
I have to look at the title.
It's like a huge title, Nunsploitation. It's on Tubi, though.
It's on Tubi. Yes, you can watch it now. He's been listening to us for a while.
Dude, like forever. It's called Fontaine and the Vengeful Nun.
Yes. I'm excited to watch it. I haven't peeped it yet. I just saw today that it was up on Tubi. I'm excited to watch it. The trailer that he sent me looked right up my alley. Another
fan of ours, I mean, maybe they know each other from the show or another show. I don't know. But, like, posted that she watched it and was like, it's fucking tight.
Yeah, I can't wait. So,
I do hear there's some... It's an exploitation film. You know, you should know what you're going to get here.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
But yeah, no. That's interesting. Super interesting. So congratulations, James Dean, getting that out there, getting it on Tubi. Dude, Tubi's fucking tight. And like, hopefully he gets paid for that. I hope there's payment involved with that. There should be, motherfucker. So congratulations, buddy. That's super tight. Speaking of nunsploitation.
Oh God.
No, I've got nothing. I was going to try and tie that into fucking Cherry Falls.
Cherry Falls?
What can you tie into Cherry Falls, though? Not a lot. Cherry Falls.
So, I want to ask you, actually, there's a couple things I want to ask you. Had you seen this before?
I did, but only a few weeks ago.
No, okay. I meant like when it came out.
No, I did not see it when it came out.
Okay. I thought I did. I think I'm thinking of Darkness Falls because I was expecting a Tooth Fairy in this movie, and I don't remember seeing.
No, yeah, that's.
But Darkness I do remember. Yeah, Darkness Falls. I do remember hearing the title, and Brittany Murphy.
Yes,
was a rising star at that time, so I remember it coming out, and we mentioned this on our Patreon. The fact that this is made for TV is fucking nuts.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the story behind it is super interesting. There are a couple articles out there. There's one on Bloody Disgusting titled The Real Story Behind Cherry Falls. It's written by Trace Thurman. A lot of our fans listen to his podcast. He's on Bloody Disgusting. Shout out to our dudes over there still. The other one is called, this is like super interesting. Sorry, Cherry Falls. I'm trying to pull up these old articles that I had found. It's from a site called scriptophobic.ca. It's called The Butchered Remains of Cherry Falls 2000, where this dude goes deep into the script, the original script versus what ended up being on film. And it's two totally different things. And there's some funniness behind it. There's some questions of very similar to Kevin Williamson's claims in this movie. I don't think we'll ever find out like exactly what was going on with this. But it's kind of a mess. And it was supposed to be released in theaters. So I'm not so sure that trailers didn't run for it in theaters, because they were going to the MPAA for rating, which you don't have to do for a TV movie.
Right.
So they were definitely planning it. And I imagine, because, dude, there were probably trailers for sure. Because how many trailers come out where it's like not yet rated because it's still going through MPAA?
Yeah.
So that's probably why we are very confused in 2021. 2020.
Why would they make this movie? It's such a riding the coattails of Scream. So the whole premise of it is, I would assume, to make money to capitalize off the momentum that those movies had.
Right. So what happens is they spend $14 million on this, making it the most expensive TV movie ever made to this date.
So it was made for theaters.
Fucking date. What happens is Columbine happens, and then an investigation, and they use, for some reason, Cherry Falls as like the prime example where they're like, we're going to investigate this fucking movie. And it just so happens that Cherry Falls, the guy that wrote it is a fucking weirdo. The guy that directed it is a fucking weirdo. The whole thing's a fucking mess. And at the end of the day, all of this shit got like put under a microscope so that I guess the studio was just like, fuck it, put it on TV. We don't want anything to do with it anymore. They sold it to USA Network. USA ends up premiering it. But here's the weird thing. So the writer, which, by the way, all of this shit is on like DVD commentary and stuff. And those two articles, by the way, will give you more in depth. This is just like fucking 10,000 foot level overview of it. The writer writes this movie, and he has a quote in this, and this is going to like kind of, it doesn't spoil the ending, but it kind of does. So the writer said this, and I watched this clip, and I fucking laughed for like 20 minutes about this. He's talking about the orgy scene at the end of the movie. That scene had a tough time with the MPAA. Oh wait, no, this isn't is this his quote? Oh yeah. Yeah, so this scene had a tough time with the MPAA. The writer wrote in his script that he wanted like flowing white sheets in the orgy scene and fucking blood splattering.
Blood splatter. Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
But that's from like the fucking
cherries
myth,
popping?
The myth of cherries popping, which is gruesome. That's fucking more alarming than what the director did, which the writer was not happy with. So this guy's like, I thought this would be brilliant with fucking blood, right? The director then gets a hold of it.
I'm sorry, but to write that is fucking nuts, and then to call it Cherry Falls is fucking bananas.
Bananas. I agree with you completely.
Dude, halfway through the movie, I was like, holy shit. Yes. It's not just the name of a fucking town.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes. Dude, like, this is my problem with everything they say, which is like, they're like, we don't get it. And it's like, what do you not get about this? So this guy comes up with this idea. There's the flowing sheets, the fucking blood, whatever. The director comes up with an idea of filming it high school students. Butt ass naked. All of them are fucking naked. Fucking. All of them are fucking naked, right? So he films it that way, which of course the MPAA is like, that's not gonna fly, dude. And then the writer is upset because he's like, if he did my idea, it would have been so much better and it wouldn't have been cut. Hey, asshole, that for sure would have been fucking cut. The MPAA is not going to allow fucking, like, vaginal blood to be being
That's split. Honestly one of the most insane like pitches I fucking heard. Maybe in like an exploitation film, but this is a teeny bopper. Like, this is teeny bopper horror.
You're trying to capture the Scream audience. You're trying to capture the Scream audience, right? And then the writer's like, listen, I thought it was a shame because the whole reason, this is exactly what he says, the whole reason I wrote this script was to film an orgy at the end of a slasher movie. He's like, what is more perfect than the last virgin being chased through a giant teen orgy? Anything's better than that. I'll be honest with you. And you know, these two articles like give you a lot of details, but even they're paying like, I mean, you have to take a stance, I guess, when you write an article. You can't be like in the middle, but the writers of these articles really were like pushing hard that like Cherry Falls would have been amazing if we had gotten to see a real cut of it. But I beg to differ. I think because they were like, this is so meta. This was like following in the steps of Scream, where it was like making fun of like the virginity thing, but still film. To me, it makes no sense. Like, I honestly am like, I mean, maybe it's all cut out. I don't know. But like, based on what I saw, like, I can't see a way that this movie becomes like super meta and super good. Like, what is it? What's its stance on it? I don't quite understand.
Well, I mean, it's making fun of how the last virgin is the survivor. I actually really like that. I'm kind of in agreement with them. I just, the scene that we were just talking about, I think is so fucking outlandish, and for them to be confused why it wasn't allowed, you know, if they did it, that would have been fucking something, right? That would have like, there's no other way to say it. It would have been fucking something. And the fact that I even know that the thought of it exists is kind of like crazy lore. So imagine if they actually filmed that.
Dude, like, it's fucking madness. And like they I don't know. Like, the fact that both guys think that both of their versions should have been like okayed is like fucking nuts. Like, both guys are like, well, if it was my way, this would have worked. What? The only way it would have worked is the way that got on film. That's it. Period. End of story.
Dude, I put this in my story, and I know we'll probably talk about it in more depth, but obviously they cut out a lot. It's not like a Friday the 13th where you see lots of sex and you know, topless women. The fact that they kept in the toe sucking scene, I feel like, and what do they call them? I'm blanking. The MPAA.
Yeah.
And the network should have been like, absolutely fucking not. That I've never seen anything like that.
And by the way, rumor has it all deleted footage from this has disappeared. So we did not get another cut. There's one cut available, according to everyone. Although, Again, the director's like, the cut still exists. It's buried somewhere. They're hiding it. Buddy, fucking relax. They've got more things to fucking worry about now. Fucking maniac. But no, it's interesting. I would love to see an unedited cut, kind of not. I don't know. I'm interested to see more what other, like, forget the fucking orgy. I don't give a fuck about how that plays out. I'm more interested to see if there's details during the movie that make some of this more cohesive, because there's some weird shit in this movie, and I don't know whether they were intended to be red herrings, or especially the scenes with the father and the daughter that are semi-romantic.
Bro, dude, when he is, again, we'll talk about when he is teaching her self-defense and he falls on her. I was like, this guy is the fucking killer, right? Or because they are having sex. They're in a sexual relationship. That was insane.
It scares me. It
didn't come back into play.
No, it's not a thing. It's not a fucking thing, dude. It's not a thing at all. And like, it upsets me for Brittany Murphy. Like, Brittany Murphy, by the way, like, I don't know all of her details, and I don't want to sound like a fucking jerk on this. Brittany Murphy, though, seems like she was a fucking mess while making this. Like, I don't think she was in the right frame of mind. I don't think the scene, especially when she's like sucking on his toes, she seems like loopy.
Wait, she's not sucking on his.
Or he's sucking on her toes, sorry.
All right, because I was like, what? That would even
you missed a whole good scene. No, I don't know. There's just some scenes where she seems like really out of it. Like, maybe I'm fucked up. I don't know. I've been around people on drugs and on pills and shit, and
I mean, she's definitely had substance abuse
for sure. And I'm not trying to say it, but like at the same time, like some of her performance is like so bizarre that like you're almost like, does she even know she's in a movie? Like, she's like, the way she's reacting to some of the information that she's getting is like, it's either like nothing and she like is ignoring it, or she's like, are you fucking serious about like the smallest thing? And that toe sucking scene is just like so out of character for her in it. And I don't understand, if it was written that way, why they would, why she becomes
that's one of
so
my favorite
aggressive.
scenes in the movie. Dude, that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie because it happens so it seems so impromptu.
It is. It absolutely is. What does that do to the movie? Like, and I mean, I know I have some notes on it because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but like, she's so, dude, she starts kicking him in the fucking face, being like, suck my toes, bitch. And he's like, please stop. It was so weird.
So you sound pretty down on it.
No.
Did you not enjoy it?
I'm down on it because it's not great. It's not great. It's a fucking weird movie. I liked it. Like, I can have fun. It's my second time watching it. Like, when I told you about that we had to do this for the show, I was like, it's fucking nuts. It's crazy.
It is nuts.
It's fucking bonkers. Yeah. And it is a real shame that this did not get a theatrical release. I mean, it would have done terribly. It would have done so bad. It would have bombed. But I would like to see what got cut. And I don't think it would have made it better, though. I think it is what it is. It's a movie called Cherry Falls about people losing their virginity, which is insane. And Jay Moore.
I honestly really liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I really liked it. More so, it's not perfect, and it is kind of a mess, but more so than I was expecting. I was expecting generic teeny bop.
No, it's
a slasher, and it's fun. It's out there. And Jay Moore, first off, I forgot he existed.
Yeah.
I really did. I forgot he existed, and then when he showed up on the screen, I was like, "Holy shit!" The reveal, I'm honestly fine with. I kind of like that whole angle and the motivation behind it. I was impressed, man.
Yeah, don't ever disrespect me looking like a fucking young, handsome fucking Michael Rappaport, Jay Moore.
Dude, what's it called? Malignant totally took
oh my god
look from the fucking killer in this.
Yes. Oh, like the exact same look. Now, did you ever... Well, let's get into the movie. Let's get into the...
Jay Moore? Did you ever see Mafia?
Oh, with fucking Leslie Nielsen?
Is Leslie in it? I just remember Jay Moore being...
Wait, Mafia with an exclamation point?
Yeah, Jane Austen's Mafia. I think that's what it's called.
Wait, Mafia movie? What was it? It was called what?
Jane Austen's Mafia, I think, even though it had nothing to do with Jane Austen.
It definitely did. Wait. Oh, yeah, Jay Moore. Oh, no, he's not in it.
Jay Moore's not in Mafia?
No, Jay Moore is. Sorry, I'm sorry.
My whole life is a lie.
I meant Leslie Nielsen's not in it.
It feels like a Leslie Nielsen movie.
Yeah, for sure. Who played the main guy? Lloyd Bridges? I think it was.
Are you telling me? What was it, Lloyd?
No, I think it was Lloyd, yeah. But I always thought Leslie played the what's his name? Island of Dr. Moreau character. Marlon Brando.
Oh my god,
character.
that scene when he finally dies in that movie,
dude, where they're like spraying
with the orange. Fuck! Now I gotta watch Mafia.
Adding it to the list, baby.
Wait.
It has nothing. It doesn't say anything about Jane Austen, though.
It does not.
No.
Are you, dude? I just googled it. It's the first thing that pops up. Jane Austen's Mafia. Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah. Go to the Wikipedia page.
Oh my god, it does come up. How are you even legally allowed to do that? Mafia, also known as Jane Austen's Mafia. Okay, fine. How are you allowed to do that? That's so weird. Her estate probably sued them. She's dead, right? Jane Austen.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's get back on the Cherry Falls. I'm super excited. Christina Applegate. What a dreamboat.
Did Jane Austen died in 1870?
My bad. My bad, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a bright man. All right. So let's get into Cherry Falls here. Let's fucking dish on Cherry Falls. So we open up to these teens making out about and like getting horny over some nerdy ass sci-fi space shit. You can't even call this. I mean, the guy's got a license plate that says Sup Nova, which supernova. But like, is like whispering in her ear, trying to get her all hot and bothered by being like, "I'm from another planet." My name is Nobulax. It's like the weirdest fucking shit. And then when she shuts him down, he's like, "What the fuck?" Thought we were having a good time out here. And she gets mad, and they get out of the car. They start beefing.
Also, I assumed this was taking place in like 1955 at this point.
Oh, because they're necking in the woods. And
the year 2000. Are you kidding me?
Acting like space travel's not a thing. Like they're looking at stars being like, "Gee golly, what goes on out there?" Making shit up. No, this is a present day, baby. They get into a fight, and the car pulls up behind them with this wild looking person in it. Long hair. You finally piece together that you're intended to think that this is a woman, because of the nail polish you'll see in some scenes, the boots that she wears in some scenes. I think she's wearing a skirt in some scenes also, maybe all of them.
Yeah, and then about halfway through, they pinpoint a suspect that.
Yes, that is a woman. That is a woman. Now I'm saying that because in certain moments, especially when you first see her, you're like, this is a man in a wig for sure. Like this is for sure a man.
Like this scene right here. Yeah.
Yeah. This scene, like popping off, like straight.
Honestly, it could have been a monster. There's something so off-putting about it. You're like, what is this?
You're right. That's actually a better thing. You don't know what this thing is, but it's not. It's not like you don't know what it is, right? It's something wearing a fucking wig. Like, it's unnatural hair is what it is. So yeah, this car pulls up, grabs the guy, stabs the fucking shit out of him outside of the car. The girl locks herself in. We have a tense moment of her. She's locked all the car doors. She can hear her boyfriend crying on the outside of the door, but she can't see him. Ultimately, she unlocks it, which the worst decision I've ever seen. And
head move.
Fucking come on, guys! This is the first time you've ever seen a horror movie, and she unlocks it, of course. And he comes up, and he's fucking bleeding, and the creature thing comes in, stabs him, and grabs her, and starts stabbing her.
I actually liked this cold open. It was pretty Scream-esque.
I like
until right now, where when the creature grabs her, it's like stabbing but freezing and freeze flaming and jumping all around. And I get now that it's a TV movie. At the time of watching this, I didn't realize they made it for TV, so they probably edited that so they could show it. But that completely took me out of it.
I mean, I don't think anyone watching this. Well, I shouldn't say anyone. I don't think anyone watching this for like the first time will realize that this is a TV movie. Like, because the production value is too high. It has Brittany Murphy in it at her fucking height.
5 years after Clueless, yeah.
And like, you know, like this is not, you can tell it's just not, it's not a cheap fucking movie. It's fucking not.
Also, she looks way more like a high school student in this than she did in Clueless.
That's
crazy.
Was alarming. That was fucking alarming, dude. Fucking Clueless, she looks like a 35-year-old woman, and she's somehow looks like
17.
A frumpy little teenager in this one. Like, she looks younger than everyone in this movie. All the high school students look 47, and Brittany Murphy's like, hi. And you're like, oh, yeah, for sure. 16. Yeah, it was so weird. So they're dead. You cut to Brittany Murphy and her boyfriend, who are also necking in the car. And Brittany Murphy is out of the gate acting. I don't know if it's her delivery or I don't know. There's just like something like unsettling about Brittany Murphy at times in this movie. But
I honestly think her character is kind of developed to be a red herring from the gate because she's very much a virgin, and she's very open about that. And as the story progresses, we know that virgins are being killed. And the way that she's acting, at least in my opinion, I think they set it up for the viewer to be like, is she involved? Is she the one doing it? Because I certainly thought that at times.
Here's my question, though. Are virgins actually being killed, or do they just happen to be virgins? Because does the killer actually give a fuck about your virginity in this movie? I don't think that's the case. Actually, I'm not sure the killer knows what he's doing in this movie.
I mean, they definitely tie it together because of that great scene in the auditorium. So they do confirm that he is targeting virgins, and
the police think alert,
that. Well, they connect that. And spoiler alert,
that auditorium rocks.
The killer it does rock. The killer would have that knowledge, like he's there, so he would have, be privy to that information, hear like the gossip of who's a virgin.
I just don't see.
It makes sense.
I don't understand his motivation at all, except for targeting one family. Well, two families, I guess. But
so agreed. As we find out, there's 4 people that he should be targeting, and 2 left. So if he was just terrorizing, if they went the Sidney Prescott route,
right,
where I know that there was collateral damage in Sidney's, but at least you could piece together the motivation between them, like Stu killed Drew Barrymore because he used to date her, etc. This one, there was no need for this.
It was really weird.
Honestly, now that you say that, he has the means and the age and the wherewithal to just do away with the people that he's hunting, the people that wronged him.
Easily. And instead he's like doing weirdo
steps.
Doing all this extra weirdo shit. Yeah, no, I don't know, but we'll get a little more into that as we get closer. But yeah, you're right. Like right off the bat, Brittany Murphy makes sure, to let us know she's a virgin, and her boyfriend does too. He's like, does it ever bother you that you'll die a virgin? What are you guys are 16 years old. It's not the 40-year-old virgin here, buddy. Like, fucking relax. You're going to die a fucking virgin if you don't sleep with me right now. She says it's right up there with global warming with her concerns. And then he's like, immediately like, I think we need to see other people. Cue Brittany Murphy's mom. Now, again, I guess, were these all supposed to be red herrings? Or like, what the fuck?
They are. They are.
They are awful. They are awful red herrings. Because they're not. Why would we think any of these people are involved other than like they're just acting insane? Like, the town's just full of insane people.
I'm not going to lie, man. It kind of worked on me. It kind of worked.
The only one that worked is the dad. Dude, the mom coming up and being so horny for Brittany's boyfriend.
That's nuts.
But I'm not like he's... Well, yeah, she's definitely out there killing virgins.
I would have bought it.
She comes up to the car and is like, anybody got a light? And by the way, Brittany's boyfriend just broke up with her. And the boy's like, anything for you, Mrs. Whatever your name is. Like, dude, it's like the horniest scene of all time. The mom can't stop, just like, it's my only guilty pleasure. Like, what the fuck? Oh, man. But, you know.
Wait, so are the mom and the dad together?
Yeah.
They don't share any screen time.
They don't. They don't.
They don't share any screen time, and they don't act like they're together at all. And
no.
when they talk about each other, they're always, it's always separated. They're just talking to her daughter. So the fact that they're still married is fucking crazy.
That is nuts. Kenny is laying it on thick. You ever flirt with a friend's mom like that?
No.
I don't think I have. Older women at a bar? Yes, sir. Do you remember Belinda at the Vic House?
The Vic House? Yeah.
What a fucking nightmare. I was fucking molested that night. So, anyway, the mom and the daughter... Oh, the mom and the daughter kiss on the lips, too? That was weird. That was... They go into the house, and they're both, like, terrified of the dad, by the way, which is not...
They are. And also, this conversation that they just had in the car, it does not look like they have a solid relationship with each other. It actually seemed like they hated each other. And then they go inside and they're best friends.
Which, by the way, now, if that was the angle, I'm fine with her being a red herring. If she was like, I fucking hate my idiot daughter, I'll show you a good time. My daughter doesn't fuck. I fuck.
I thought that's what they were going to go for.
If that's what they're going with, down. That's a red herring, baby. Like, there you go. Instead, though, it's like, they go up to the door and the mom's like, I love you so much. And then they kiss on the lips. And like, she's like, please don't wake up your father. Just be very quiet. Like, and they're also making this dad out to be like a fucking lunatic, which he is in the open. Not really, but like, he's tough in the first few scenes. And then after that, he's like, I just love you so much. But yeah, no, that was kind of weird. And we also learned that she is the sheriff's daughter, and we learn that in a scene where Brittany Murphy goes to the window with her eyes closed.
Just fucking sleepwalking. Daddy.
What is that?
That's why they're setting up as a red herring, because when you see that this girl sleepwalks,
but she doesn't, because then she just opens her eyes. She's like awake.
I'm aware that they didn't stick the landing, but I think that's what they were going for. That she sleepwalks, that she might not remember. That was my first thought. Like, okay, she's doing it in her sleep. She doesn't know what she's doing. She wakes up and she finds out people are dead.
I'm so happy that this movie worked for you, because all of these scenes where I was like, why is this happening? You were like, no, yeah, red herring, which would have been great if that's where my brain went. Even the first time I watched it, I was just like, this is fucking insane. Brittany Murphy goes to the window, eyes closed, draws the blinds as her dad is leaving and is like, Daddy? And he pulls away, and she like closes the blind and then looks at the camera and opens her eyes.
Fun fact, doesn't sleepwalk again for the rest of the movie.
Again, I'm not even sure if she was supposed to be sleepwalking. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. But the dad's going out for a crime scene investigation of the kids that got killed, and the girl got nailed to a tree.
Nailed to a tree. And worth pointing out, Michael Biehn's playing the dad. Sometimes we don't point out obvious things, and people are like, how could you not fucking point that out? So it was Michael Biehn. He does not get bit on the hand in this movie, but he is the sheriff.
Good old Mikey Bean, baby. Is that how you pronounce that last name? I never pronounced it that way.
So I pronounce it. Fuck
him. You're a big Hill Street Blues fan?
Tina is. He's the biggest Hill Street Blues fan.
I love Tina's taste in TV. It's like my favorite shit in the world. Cool, man. All right. So Michael Biehn, he's hanging loose in this movie. We then get a whole slew of characters introduced to us. We get Timmy, the gossip columnist at the high school, who...
Another red herring, man.
I did not think he's a red herring. Why?
He is. He's got all the deets on people. He has the motivation. And right before his demise, which spoiler, he fucking gets it. He's just showing up and he's creeping around. He has the information. He's
He's not the fucking red herring. He's
Sean. He's definitely developed to be a suspect.
Oh God. I feel like we watched two different movies. I saw him as like a Randy. This guy's never going to be the killer. Like he seemed like a safe space.
Yeah, but Randy could have been a killer. Randy was a suspect in Scream.
That's a good point.
This guy, I mean, he had the information. There's something off about him. He's a fucking creep. He's a weirdo. And then he's always showing up at the right time.
He is insane.
He's basically investigating the police investigation.
He is. Here. Which is
he's like, I'm just getting it from my column. He doesn't have a fucking column.
Yo, and he knows like who's fucking. It's insane.
That's what I'm saying. He's
creepy.
Right when you meet him, he's like, check out these two on the rebound.
She's blowing him all the time in the fucking boys' room. And you're like, what the fuck? Why do you know that? Look at these two hornballs. You're like, what the fuck is happening? And then he's like, I can't wait to write about this. Please, what? School would shut that shit down so fast. You'd be in fucking jail, I think.
Dude, not this school, because there's a scene where this kid's screaming about this girl giving blowjobs, and the principal's just like, just lower your voice, please. Let's take it outside.
Can you please take this to another room? This is the lunchroom. Have a little fucking respect. Yeah, no, that's fucking alarming. And then, by the way, they cut to this guy who's like, oh, wait, no, it was a different guy. But they cut to some other guy who's like, yeah, that never happened. It's so funny. Which one the fuck? It's like the funniest bit he's ever done. Told me he was going to do that. So we meet Timmy. We meet Jay Moore, who is a teacher there. And a cast of a lot of familiar actor faces here. You got DJ Qualls, and if you go into like who's in these scenes, it's a bunch of like, I don't want to call them like famous, but a lot of like names you would recognize. They've been in tons
during
of TV.
That time period, they were all over the place.
Exactly.
Hey, Sean, since you can see me, I'm leaning forward because I have a heater here, so I'm just trying to warm up my face. I feel like I can't move my lips. That's why if you see me in this.
that is all good, brother. So we meet we meet Jay Moore, the teacher. By the way, talking about this school and their like their lack of discipline. Jay Moore is like, let's talk about the murder of your friends.
This is what we were talking about in the Scream series, right? How they just report to class the next day. And especially in Scream 2, they have that scene where they're talking about sequels. And their friends were just murdered. And the teacher's like, good talk, guys. They took that and amplified it by like 1 million. Because at least in Scream 2, they're talking about movies, right? So that they have a subject that they're talking about. They're just relating it to real life events, which the teacher should have probably intervened at some point. But fine, they're talking about what that class is for. This one, Jay Moore is like, let's talk about our feelings, which is fine. That's fine. You open it up to people.
No,
yeah. I'm fine with that. But immediately kids are like, this kid was a fucking piece of shit and his girl is a whore. And Jay Moore's just like, oh, come on, guys. But he allows it to continue. It's like 15 minutes of it.
Not only is he like, come on, guys, and then he's like, let's hear it from this kid. And he's like, He's like, same. She's a fucking bitch. And he's like, oh, hey, maybe this kid has something to say.
And he'll be like, dude, and again, this is red herring the movie. So I'm surprised that you didn't pick up on it because he immediately calls on the kid. He's like, you were good friends with him. He's like, I got nothing to say. And everyone's like, well, that's fucking suspect. And then they're just looking around and be like, fuck you. And everybody that talks about this, everybody that he calls on, he's like, you've known him for a while. They're all just like, didn't talk to him in years. Fuck him. Like,
no, all of those I picked up on those. Those are fine. But like at the same time, Scream set up. Scream original. Like, did you really? I guess you did kind of suspect some of the students, but it wasn't like, I don't know. It could have been anyone, right? I don't know. This one, It just doesn't have that, like, it could be anyone vibe. Like, it just doesn't have that vibe to me where it's like, I especially I didn't think any really of the students gave off a vibe of like, that guy has a motivation to kill anyone. The adults more in this movie, the adults were fucking insane in this movie.
See, halfway through, it lost its luster. But at this point, I thought it could have been a student, especially since they were really heavy on the virgin angle right off the bat. And thinking back to Scream, Skeet Ulrich's character is so pissed at Sidney for not giving up the goods. So I thought that was what they were going for.
Yeah, and I mean, by the way, like, I have no problem with this scene other than it was like the teacher being like, anyone else want to say their piece? And it was just people being like, fuck them, I'm so glad they're dead. And then they all start fighting with each other. Then they're like, I hope you fucking die. Yeah, and then finally Jay Moore's like, all right, guys, hey, take it easy.
No, dude, that's not what he does. He stands up and he strangles the kid with his own scarf.
Oh, wait, that's right. He wraps he's like, all right, enough.
He's choking this kid.
That's fucking right. I fucking forgot about that. Fucking strangles the kid and then is like, that's it. By the way, it had been, that moment had passed like fucking like 15 minutes prior. Like, he had let this go on for so long. Like, honestly, like, the kids lost their gas. Like, the kids were kind of like they had already fought each other for so long that they were like, I don't know, fuck them. And then Jay Moore was like, that's enough. I've heard enough.
Choking a student.
Yeah, and then the sheriff.
It's only a scarf, right? It's only a scarf. And I only bring that up again because like 5 minutes later, it cuts back to that kid, and the scarf is still wrapped around his neck in the strangle position, but Jay Moore is not there. The kid's still like gasping for air.
Yeah, and the sheriff walks in, by the way, during this, and he's got nothing to say about these kids. But also, the sheriff, bedside manner, not fucking great, because he walks in and he's like, listen, your friends are fucking dead, and that's that. If you have information, I guess let me know. That was his, which, by the way, there's a scene prior to this where he goes into the principal's office and is like, I need to fucking talk to these kids. They need to hear from me. Cause and the teacher's like, listen, we're thinking about shutting the school down for a day, like letting these kids like the principal's like saying principal things. And the guy's like, I need to fucking talk to these kids and find out who's killing who. And this is how he goes about it. Like, I'm going to fucking kill whoever did that. Okay. I don't think anyone's going to come forward. Maybe you approach this a different way.
But the best is after he does that, Jay Moore, who isn't even the principal's in the room. Jay Moore is just a fucking jabroni teacher, right? Just an ordinary subject teacher, and he's asking the sheriff, like, what are you doing for this investigation? He's like, we have a right to know.
Dude,
who the fuck?
He's like,
who the fuck are you?
Jay Moore's like, to quote Friedrich Nietzsche, the truth is more powerful when it comes from the mouth. Like.
Yeah, it's played out. He's played out. And the sheriff's like, yeah, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not telling you my investigation.
He's like, oh, fuck, I wish I wrote down the exact quote. I didn't, but he's like, yeah, well, Plato don't play this game. Okay. Jesus.
But, I mean, could you imagine if there was a murder?
I'd fucking arrest them.
Somebody was addressing the staff, and then just some like lowly art teacher or like fifth grade teacher,
liberal
like,
art.
Well, tell me everything you know about the investigation right now. No, what? The fuck are you?
What? we're trying to find the suspect. Like, yeah, here's what we know, so he can change everything, so we can't catch him. Jay, you fucking dumb piece.
Dude, remember when that happened to the Night Stalker? Like they gave the mayor, they finally gave the mayor information. And she immediately just said it on national TV.
Yeah.
So the guy knew what they were looking for and what information they had.
Yes, that was fucking insane. Fucking Night Stalker. But I think you and I talked about this in a fucking private chat. But like, that guy should have just been arrested anytime. If you saw that guy walking down the street, you fucking arrest. You fucking guy looks like a fucking monster.
Teeth growing out his fucking eyes. The most crooked ass teeth.
Yo, McCluskey style, baby. Dude, I love cracking jokes that literally no one knows except Paul and Mike, who listen to the show. And they probably don't even get as big of a laugh as we do about it. They're probably like, yeah, no, I get it. Like, that kid had a lot of teeth. Anyway, yeah, or that guy should have been fucking locked up a long time ago. Anyway,
yeah,
we get the lunch. Wait, does the lunch
scene? Yeah, that was right here because it just cuts to a guy being like, "It's a compliment when someone says you could suck a mean dick," and then she's just beating the shit. They were straight up fist fighting.
Oh, she fucking beats the shit out of him, and rightfully so. And by the way, does not tie into the fucking movie. I don't think, right?
No, I mean, I think it's just to set the atmosphere of the kids are all fucking losing their mind.
Yeah, but okay. Sure.
Also, calling a BJ a Hummer is so old school.
Yeah, that's fucking, yeah. Does he say Hummer?
He does.
Fucking, that's some 70s fucking lingo. Smoking grass and getting Hummers, baby.
Dude, this is such a throwaway line that progresses nothing to the story. It's not even worth bringing up, but it stood out to me because they asked one of the kids what they're thinking. He's like, I'm thinking these ribs rule. They were the shittiest looking lunch food I've ever seen.
So bad that you couldn't identify them as a rib. Dude, and I swear to God, I remember it was actually weird because like you're watching him eat. Well, it's not weird because they keep cutting to him and he's like, it's like a close up of his face, like slobbering on these. You cannot make out what they were. I was like, what the fuck even is that? And then that line happened, and I was like, that's madness. That is not... What school has ribs?
I know.
What was your favorite school lunch? Did you ever get hot lunch? Were you a hot lunch kid boy?
Only elementary school, never. I didn't get it once in high school.
What?
Brown bag.
Why?
Brown bagged it.
All day? Oh, man. I mean, I did for a lot of high school. I also ate pizza out of the trash in high school. Okay. Lack of money. And, dude, the fucking lunch lady... They would throw away pizza that was burned. It was not fucking burnt. Like the cheese was like a little crusty, right? And I watched her throw it away, and I was like, "Why are you throwing that away?" And she was like, "It's burned. Like we technically have to throw it away." And I was like, "I'm fucking eating that. Like I never get hot lunch. Like this shit fucking rocks. I'm gonna fucking eat the shit out of this." I grabbed like 4 pieces out of the trash. What was your favorite hot lunch in elementary school? That was probably the hitter lunches anyway. You had breadstick dunkers.
Yeah, I mean, breadstick dunkers, no doubt. No doubt. With the marinara sauce.
Yo,
I was trying to think of what it was, but that just brought me back. Breadstick dunker day was the best day of the week.
Yo, you could get the meat sauce too.
The meat sauce and Lucky Tray Day on top of it.
Oh shit! Lucky Tray Day? Is that? Oh, I gotta ask my son if that's a thing anymore. I don't think it is. Oh man,
best.
Oh,
you get breadstick dunkers, and then you check under your tray, and if it had a sticker, you got a prize. Holy shit!
Damn, son, I fucking loved breadstick dunkers. That was the shit. I feel like they also had like. I feel like there were some other foods that were pretty tight. I can't remember. Did they do chicken parm? I think that was in high school.
They definitely had. I think they had like the chicken patty sandwich.
Actually, that I loved that. I did love that.
Yeah.
Just fucking disgusting slab of breaded chicken with some mayonnaise. Fucking killer. changed my life. I actually had that for lunch today. It's still like one of my favorite like treat lunches, little treats. But the vegan chicken patties. Okay. That's that. That's that for school lunch talk. I wanted to fuck you had mentioned something else I wanted to say, but whatever. I was gonna say the brown paper bag lunches is what led to, and I think we've edited this out on previous, so I won't go into details. Garbage locker started with one of my brown paper bag lunches because left it in my locker for way too long, and then me and Matt P threw it in another locker, and it started garbage locker because it was a fucking bologna sandwich that was been there for a fucking dude. I'm gonna fucking throw up thinking about it. But anyway, fucking stunk. It was fucking the worst. It was the most foul thing that's ever happened. And we put it in a locker, and you know, the rest is history.
Took a life of its own.
It did. I remember we cut that out because we were like, people are gonna think we are pieces of shit.
Yeah,
but it wasn't really us. It wasn't really us.
I had nothing to do with it.
Well, hey, you didn't say anything. You didn't put a stop to it. I'll tell you that much.
No.
Had to evacuate.
I was there for it.
Had to evacuate a wing of the school. One of the students that we met is left home alone. I think this actually might have been Blowjob Girl. I think this might have been why we were introduced to her.
She was sent home from school.
But that still doesn't make sense because this is a nighttime scene, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
but
you know.
Wait, listen, relax. Everyone, she was sent home from school?
I mean, they were fighting.
All right. She had every right to fucking... Anyway,
sure.
The students this girl's at home alone. Her parents go out. That's noted. The parents are like, going out for a night on the town. They leave. Mystery killer comes to the door and is doing, again, you're trying to sell us that this is a woman. They're definitely trying to sell us that this is a woman. Yeah. Comes to the door doing a Mrs. Doubtfire bit, though. Like, hello! Are your parents home? I'm here to drop off. I'm here to drop something off for them. And the girl is suspect, and rightfully so. And I actually did love this scene.
She handles it well. It's so bizarre that she handles it that well because she's like, this is odd. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not letting you in. And then is walking up the stairs, and the lady's just like, are you sure? And she's like, all right. All right.
Well, if you ask
you have a compelling argument.
When you put it that way. No, she actually, I thought that was actually like, there's certain moments in movies that are like little to me, but like they go a long way. And to me, her reaction, 100% what I would do. I would know not to answer the door, but all it would take is them being like, but it's so cold. Could you please let me in? And I'd be like, fuck. Like, let me just check. I think I should just check on this person. And she does. And, she gets fucking got, man. Killer just slamming the door on her head. Yeah,
drags her through the house. Now, you say this kind of won you over because it was, realistic of how she first acted, Yep. I think her parents coming home is one of the most realistic parents walking into a house because they come home right after this and they see the door open. And usually in movies, the parents walk in, they're like oblivious, and then they see the corpse and start screaming. Yeah. These two are running into the house because the door is left open immediately and just calling her name. I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's handled well. And again, like, we now know, like, with the TV editing, why this happened, but like, it is like so disjointed because you don't see the crime scene. By the way, you don't see this crime scene ever other than later in the movie, a few flashes of her hanging. But it seemed insane. It was actually a super letdown. This is like the biggest letdown in the movie because like the way everyone's reacting to the crime scene is the craziest thing. They're like looking up at the ceiling and being like, Jesus fucking Christ. What crime scene do you look up at the ceiling and are like, oh dear God. Like,
like Silence of the Lambs when he takes his lungs out and hangs them, right?
Yeah. Like, what are we missing? Like, you can't do that. There's like 3 scenes of them, like somebody walking in, being like, oh my God, and then being like, Jesus fuck.
Yeah, the police do it right after the parents.
And you're like, oh, what are we missing? And you never get to see it, and that's such a huge bummer.
Yeah.
But yeah. We get the Brittany Murphy and her dad self-defense training scene where the dad falls on top of her and they go nose to nose. As if it's a fucking romantic scene.
It's a scene that you see in like Dirty Dancing when their dance partners like end up against each other.
Right.
It is bizarre.
It was super fucking weird. Right. It's exactly that where it's like, we're 2 friends and we're just doing this thing. Oh, we ended up nose to nose. And it's like, do
interlocking eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa,
and the phone's ringing dude, and isn't the phone ringing and he's just still laying on top
He's
of
like,
her?
oh yeah.
I gotta go get this.
And it's like, where are we going with this? And that is so intentional and like so not a like misread or you know what I mean? Like Brittany, right? Like I am like criticizing her like state of mind or whatever, and it's like maybe maybe it's not, maybe it's just how she wanted to play the character, but this is not that. This is a very intentional scene with 2 actors, and like that was the way they shot it, and I don't know why.
That was a intentional move.
Yeah, there's no way to misread that.
That was a choice.
It wasn't a line read. It was like very physical, and like the chemistry there was a little too much for me. I was not a fan of it.
I mean, that's bizarre. And then they follow it up. So he goes to the crime scene, and he comes back, and he's like, "She was a fucking virgin." Which the fact that they know that quickly is pretty crazy. But I don't know. Maybe that's how
it doesn't. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, so in a way, right? So let's get to that. So because the FBI gets involved, which that they made a big stink of that in this scene, and it really only comes back into play at the end of the movie. Like he's like, the fucking FBI. Yeah, there is a serial killer. That generally happens. And then the autopsy, right? And that's where we get this, the lead that they're killing virgins. Now, okay. So he's like, listen, we looked at the bodies, right? So now we have 2 girls dead and 1 guy dead right now. Yep. So, and he's like, both girls, there was no, now that makes sense, right? Like there was no, well, actually it makes sense for the guy too. There was no sexual, encounter,
like
right?
excretions, yeah,
right. Yeah. There was nothing. There was no sign of sex. There was no sign of a sexual assault. And then he's like, "This is where like it gets a little muddy." Then he's like, "Listen, both of their hymens were intact, so they're both virgins." And you're like, "Okay, weird, but like maybe, right? Like, sure."
Actually, I mean, it does make sense that they would investigate that.
I know, but like a hymen is not an actual even like a sign of virginity anymore. Like that's a known thing. Like that's not a thing. Like as a scientist, you wouldn't be like, the hymen's there. Like it's not like a thing. But like, listen, if you were like trying to get every piece of evidence, sure. Like hymens are intact. Okay. That's fine. However, the weirder part about this is the fucking guy, him being like, and by the way, the guy's definitely a virgin too. Never had sex, and he's like, and definitely didn't have sex at the time of the killing. Well, how can you determine this guy's never had sex? And it's like, there's no science, there's no fucking way you'd ever determine a male had never had sex in his life. Like you could be like, yeah, he wasn't raped, he wasn't assaulted, he definitely didn't fuck either. Like that's a little bit of a stretch for me.
Never once in his life.
This kid's a virgin too, so he's definitely killing virgins. But if I were the cop, I'd be like, you're the worst medical examiner of all time. This town needs help. Like, why are you investigating? Oh, they're all virgins.
But But he doesn't do that, and possibly more alarming than the scene where he falls on top of her. He goes to Brittany Murphy's room.
Oh
he's
my
like,
God.
He's like, are you a virgin? And they have this long, drawn out conversation that ends with her being like, hey, daddy. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, are you disappointed that I'm still a virgin? Like, what? What?
Yo, my fucking hair, dude. And like, I don't have a daughter. You do. I get the chills in this scene. I can't even imagine what it would do if I had a daughter. I'd be like, what is happening? Why is this happening? And by the way, this is
the way that he responds. He almost does kind of seem like taken aback that she is a virgin, like kind of let down when she's explaining it,
dude. When she's explaining it, so the sheriff after this autopsy does what any good cop does, and dad just goes to the daughter and is immediately like, "What base have you gone to?" He says. Like, this dude, this is a guy that's supposed to be in his, like, what, 40s or 50s? Like,
yeah.
And he says, how far have you gone base-wise? That is the weirdest way to approach it. That's a weird, like, if you're...
It would have been better if you're like, have you had sex, right?
Right. And just straight up, dude, she's in a high school. Be like, listen, I just need to know whether you've had sex or not.
Yeah.
And this is important because... of something we're investigating.
Right.
That's it. Period. End of story. And then that's like, oh yeah, no.
So they'll be like, have you ever been finger blasted?
All right. So let's talk about all the bases. 1 through 2 can be a little murky. I think 1 is kissing. 2 is boobies. Have you rounded 2 yet? Okay. 3, of course, is the fingers. And 4 is the sex. and then she says, like, I forget what she says, but she doesn't respond properly. And he's like, listen, can you go further? That's what he fucking says to her. Can you go further? Oh, wait, he says, can you go further? And then he pauses and then goes, then you already have. I'd be like, Dad, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking blow my brains out and then fucking insane. And then she's
out of my room,
dude. Fucking, and he's sitting at her bed as she's trying to go to sleep. Can you imagine the anxiety you'd have if your dad came in and said that before bed? Hey, honey, before you go to sleep, all your friends are dead, and also, do you fuck? Do you fuck right? The fuck. And this is where, like, again, I'm like a little bit concerned about the writer and the director being like, I don't understand why this is NC-17. Dude, the MPAA must have been like, we don't know what to do. Like, if you're going to leave this scene in, then you definitely can't have an orgy. Like, if you're hinting that the dad might be fucking the daughter, we're not giving you fucking... You have to cut everything else out. Meanwhile, to add more creepy onto creepy, Brittany's back at school now serenading her teacher with with poetry.
Yes.
And asking like deep existential questions, but like that are like romantic, right? Like kind of like, do you think 2 souls can intertwine? Like clearly talking about him and her. That there's no...
Or her dad.
Jay Moore's taking it wrong the whole movie. She's just talking about her dad. I hate this. I hate this so much. None of this shit should be joked about, but it's so insane that it's in this movie. Yeah. And then, by the way, Jay Moore piles it on when he's like, heard you broke up with Kenny. And she's like, how dare you? And I was like, okay, good. Like, she's going to be like, you're gross. Like, stop. And she's like, I've moved on from Kenny. Why is everyone so focused on me? And I was like, oh my God. She's like doing the like, I'm ready to be seeing people speech.
Yeah.
Oh God. And by the way, this scene has the weirdest electronic music playing throughout it. And it's supposed to be like a really tense, like Scream-esque moment. Cause she's like, I just saw somebody walk by the door. and they go hunting for it. And by the way, the whole time it's like it's like this electronic music playing. But they go to investigate. They don't find anything, but we do see a shoe with a symbol on it. This'll not really do a whole lot. They could have showed this shoe because the shoe ends up belonging to her boyfriend, right? Her ex-boyfriend, Kenny. Which I wish they showed earlier. So like that way you could be like, fucking Kenny's the killer. But instead you don't know who it belongs to until we see Kenny, who is explaining that he was there that night.
Yeah.
So like, he's like straight up like that. I was there. Well, I guess it's still red herring. I guess I'm being a little harsh, but whatever. And then Brittany says her goodbyes to Mr. Marlston or whatever the fuck his name is. Can we talk again sometime? Just us? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then the sheriff is going to hold a town meeting to tell the parents that only virgins are being murdered.
This probably I don't know if it's my favorite scene, but it's one of the best scenes in the movie.
No, this... fuck, you're right. I think it has to be like... Oh, fuck, you're right. I guess this movie rules, man. This scene is nuts, though. This scene's nuts, especially when the crowd starts, like, reacting. And the principal's, like, furious about this decision, right? Because they're holding it at the school.
I mean, to do that, it goes back to what we were just saying about the Night Stalker, right?
Yeah.
He has this very, very important information that only him and the coroner knows.
Yeah.
You don't know if any of these parents are the ones picking off kids. You don't know.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know. You don't have a suspect. So why are you giving away like the one crucial piece of information that might help you solve this case to these parents? And also, the way that these parents reacted is 100% how parents would fucking react upon hearing that news. Because immediately some guy's like, he's like, virgins are being picked off. And some guy's like, well, how do you know this? Like, I'm nervous about my daughter. Should I send her to school? And some other guy's like, I wouldn't worry about your daughter.
Yo.
And they get into a fist fight, which that would 100% happen at a town hall or a school meeting where somebody's telling them that information.
I think a few years ago, I would question whether it would happen or not. But after seeing these parents at like the town halls for like,
dude, there was just one PTA. It wasn't even about like mass or corona or anything.
Oh, no.
It was over the mascot being changed.
Oh yeah.
And the guy punched the speaker in the face,
dude. Beat up the fucking principal. Which, by the way, by all accounts, like that everyone there was like. He was just like asking a question. Like he wasn't even being like, fuck you. Like he was like, should we do this? And then some parent was like, I'm gonna fucking clock him. Went up and punched him in the mouth. God, man, parents are the fucking worst. But yeah, dude, that scene fucking kills me. When by the way, that fucking other parent has no reason to say that, but just under his breath, like looking away, being like, old Janie doesn't have to worry about that. And he's like, what the fuck did you just say? And like the whole town starts fucking fighting
each other.
Fist fight. That escalates. Those two get into a fight, but then like another dad stands up and is like, fuck you, and just like punches another.
Why are they all fighting? The two guys that are fighting, it's completely justified. But for the entire town to have like a mini civil war is so bizarre.
It's so nuts. I fucking loved it. And by the way, Brittany and well, a couple things. The principal is furious about this meeting, and he has one of my favorite fucking lines in the movie. When he's like, if the kids find out about this, we're gonna have a goddamn fuck fest on our hands.
Which, he's 100% right.
For sure. For sure. Also, is that the worst case scenario, though? Like, I mean, probably is.
I mean, listen, we're talking about kids. I get it, but they're being murdered, and if that's the solution,
if you can't kill them, which
one
back,
guy,
as we find out, he kills non-virgins too, so does not.
So we were saying when we find out the reveal, the motivation in the whole investigation is pretty fucking useless.
But you know what? I'm actually not. Again, I think it just has to do with the way the movie was shot, and like if they played up more that this was the town's reaction, like being like fucking virgins, and then it turns out like this guy's if they played into that a little bit more, like the killer was like, it has nothing to do with fucking virginity. Like, what fucking idiots. Like, we fucking bozos. Like, this is fucking insane. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that would be, like, kind of cool. But, like, that's never really even, like, kind of addressed.
That would be cool. Have everyone determine this motivation.
Right.
The killer just sitting back and being like, holy shit, I'm going to get away with this. They are looking for the wrong thing.
They are absolutely looking. This is insane. Holy shit. I'm fine with that, but it's not, they don't really like go into it that depth. And also we mentioned earlier, Timmy is there this night also recording this for his gossip column. And he also has a killer line here, which is, holy hymens, Batman, they're killing virgins.
Yeah, if my friend said that to me while we were spying on a meeting, I'd be like, you are the killer, and please get the fuck away from me.
Also, and by the way, I'm sorry, I'm taking back everything I said about this guy being like not really addressing the virginity thing, because he stuffs, when he kills Timmy, which we already talked about, he stuffs him in a locker that says virgin scribbled on it.
Right.
I fucking hate whatever. Yeah. Oh, by the way, also those two dads that started the fight, like the two least threatening dads of all time, right? Like,
especially the one that made the joke about the guy's daughter. That's probably realistic, because people like that are the ones that say the most outlandish things and then get surprised when somebody gets mad. So,
dude, I'll never forget this fucking. He looked like the fucking dad in this movie. It was at the St. Patrick's Parade in New Haven. And he got fucking whacked in the fucking mouth with fucking brass knuckles. He had fucking blood pouring out of his face. But, like, this dude, I was around him the entire time. I've never heard somebody talk so much shit for so fucking long. Just, like, blaming it on being drunk, but clearly with it enough. You know what I mean? Like, when you're that drunk, your fighting is more like pushing somebody and being like, fuck you. Not like wit, like trying to be witty and talking shit about everyone that walks by. And this dude was talking shit, and some guy just turned around and fucking cracked him right in the fucking mouth. And he was like, I didn't do anything. And like, he's like talking to a cop crying, I didn't do anything. I was like, this is so, you're the fucking worst. Like, just fucking roll with it. Yeah. So anyway, the town's fighting. Brittany has this long-ass scene looking for Timmy until she opens the locker labeled Virgin, and dead-ass Timmy falls out. She's about to escape when the killer strikes, and this killer is fast as hell.
Yes.
She's a runner. She's a track star. Fucking... Oh, dude. One of my favorite, like, I don't even know what you would call it, blows in this movie is the killer and Brittany fighting, and the killer knees Brittany in her butt, and Brittany just goes head first into a fucking locker with such force, like with such insane force. It's crazy.
Yeah, but then she retaliates by dropping an enormous shark that's suspended from the ceiling in a classroom for some reason.
It's absolutely insane. The sheriff ends up finding her, and she's like, the killer's here. So they go in, but killer's gone. They then ask Brittany to do a police portrait of the girl, of the person that's chasing her. And the police sergeant's face is just like fucking shock and awe. And he's like, and they're like, it seems like you know who that is. And he's like, I have no idea who the fuck that is.
Dude, the FBI is in the room being like, right. Is everything all right? Because you are sweating and like verbally acknowledging that you know who this is. Yeah, because he's like, it can't be.
Michael Bean showing all of his cards. And the FBI's like, hey, dude.
That's impossible.
Hey, dude, dude, you good? Like, it seems like you might know this person. And he's like, no, not at all. No idea who that is. Immediately gets on the phone and is like, I know who it is. And even the principal's like, principal's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's idiotic. And he's like, listen, it's what she drew. By the way, she drew somebody with no face and black hair. So
right. It looks just like her. And then the principal is on the other line. And he's like, well, that she moved 25 years ago. So.
Fuck, dude, that's fucking the funniest shit
Wait.
ever.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but because in this scene, the principal of this whole movie is one of the most level-headed people.
Yes, correct.
One of the most like realistic people. And then in this scene, he's like, absolutely not. It's fucking impossible. But then the next time they talk, he's like, I'm pretty sure, sir. And the principal's like, dear God, we gotta fucking destroy this town. Like, flee.
I don't think that happens.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that the principal, the next time they spoke about it, he was like, we gotta do something about this.
I mean, maybe. Well, because as we learned, the principal has something at stake here, but I think it's more like we don't need people looking into this, but like no one's looking into this except the fucking cop who, you know what I mean? Like the FBI, I don't know.
Because they don't know about the incident and the cop doesn't say who the suspect is.
Right. And they like the cop goes to the house, but there's no evidence there to think that she's there or doing any of this. So
which is crazy because she's standing in there. We see the cop leave and the person's in there. So maybe he should have picked up on something.
His sixth sense is fucking dog shit. The sheriff tells us that this is Laura Lee Sherman, who both her and the principal know. Him and the principal know. But we don't get much more into that until a little bit later. Also, Brittany figures this out because she just decides to pick up another landline somewhere else in the police office. And
in a police station.
No secured lines in the police station. She just picks it up and listens to her dad. And then the dad storms in as she hangs up and is like, were you listening to that? And she was like, no. And he's like, oh, okay.
Claims she was calling her mom. But no, she's like, I was calling mom, but then I heard you talking, so I immediately hung up. But he was walking out, and he's still talking to the principal, and be like, I gotta go. Well, because he's staring at her, listening on the phone.
Yes. Oh, man. Brittany goes back to school where her teacher and her continue her weird relationship. The whole town's cheering her on, I think, because she survived. Yeah. And the teacher's like in a crowd of students. The students are all like, yeah. And then like the teacher's like peeking through a crack of the students and is like as if he's like the nerd kid
asking for like an autograph.
Right. And he's like, remember me when you weren't famous? Like weirdest behavior I've ever seen. But yeah. And then Brittany gets back together with her boyfriend, which it seems ill-advised. He seems like a piece of shit because the entire movie they've just constantly cut to him like fucking some other girl and her being like, that sucks. Which it's really bizarre. And then we learn that the sex party's happening. The principal predicted it. There is going to be a sex party with the students. They're all going to have sex. And
I love the girl like giving the guidelines for it because she's like saying how it's going to go down, and people are asking her questions. Like, what about protection? And somebody's like, what about like clitoral orgasm?
Stimulus, yeah.
She's like, don't.
Not going to fucking happen.
Not going to happen.
And somebody's like, you're giving guys like a bad name. And she's like, I'm fucking not. So that was fucking dope. There's actually like a lot of like, what would you say? Like kind of like timely things. I feel like almost like a little bit ahead of their time. I feel like at this time they weren't so female positive. And it seems, I mean, there's a lot of like not female positive shit in this, but like, there's certain things in this where I'm like, nice, like fucking right.
Yeah,
like
that scene particularly
right was like really like this woman being like, sex sucks. Men are terrible at it, and don't expect anything fun out of this. So you might as well just do it now.
I love that.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. and the local news is there being like, word is there's a sex party going on in town.
Dude, it gets back to the police station, to the sheriff, and they're like, everybody from high school is going to this party to fuck. And the deputy is like, what should we do about this? And the cop is like, just treat it like a fucking party, damn it.
Let it fucking ride.
He's like, if there's trouble, you shut it down. If there's not, let it go. It's like, there's a fucking killer on the loose. So what are you letting all these kids go?
A party full of virgins. A party full of and he's like,
it doesn't even be like tail the place, sit out front. Just wait to hear if there's trouble.
Let them fuck. And then like the kids even like they start singing this song, hail, 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 Virgin High, drop your pants, it's fuck or die. Which they, by the way, they air on the news, so that's cool. This town rocks. Cherry Falls rocks. Brittany Murphy, she goes to investigate this Laura Lee Sherman character at the library, finds out she's disappeared. There's articles about this girl that no one knew about, because there was no criminal charges processed that we'll talk about shortly. She's like a nobody, really. But there's an article that's like, Laura Lee Sherman no longer in town.
Right. There's no mysterious disappearance, and the crime there's no doubt a crime that occurred, but nobody pressed charges.
Right.
So there would be
there's no record
of that.
No record of it. But it's just like she's finding articles. It's like, young weird girl and her family are gone.
Finally leaves.
Smelly girl finally leaves town. Which is not funny knowing what we know. But anyway,
well, she's investigating, and her fucking mom shows up
at the library, and he's like, "What,
dude? The way that she reacts, you would think she found her at the fuck fest, but she found her at the library. And she's like, "What are you doing here? I'll fucking kill you,
dude." That was alarming. That was so alarming because like you said, like the only girl in town not at the fuck fest, and the mom's like, "How fucking dare you come to the library?"
Her reaction is insane.
But she the mom confronts her, but then she confronts the mom and is like, Laura Lee Sherman, tell me about her. And instead of holding on to the lie, the mom's like, you've caught me. Which, by the way, there's no evidence that the mom knew her. The mom's like, Jesus Christ, you put all the pressure on me.
25 years of knowing. Why does the mom know this?
All right, I'll talk. Dude, the mom knows every gory detail of this moment. And she tells her that 4 seniors raped Laura Lee Sherman. And nothing happened. No charges were pressed because the boys in question were from good families. And again, like
star of the football team.
Star of the football team. And then reveals that her dad and two of the seniors left of the 4. 2 of them are still in town. Brittany's putting on the pressure, like, who are they? Who are they? And it's the principal and her dad. And the mom says the dad didn't participate, but also didn't do anything about it. So, not exactly innocent.
The end proves that to be incorrect.
Correct. Yeah. Now, again, like a topical conversation to be had, and like something to be like talked about with these like small towns, right? Like hiding this shit.
Well, so it's like that Brock Turner case.
Right.
He raped a girl and then got off just because he was from a well-off family.
Right.
And it was made national coverage. So yeah, it was like ahead of its time with that.
So like way ahead of its time and talking about it. And I was like, oh man, fucking right on. And like they're like addressing that this idea of like, and like Brittany Murphy's like, and like even the mom's like, but he wasn't involved. And Brittany's like, you just told me they raped her. Like what are you saying? Like, and so it was like, there's some good stuff there that they could work with.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it goes a different route. But anyway, meanwhile, the dad goes to the old Sherman residence. All he does is find like a fucking creepy doll and somebody watching him. And he's just like, well, guess the place is empty. fucking case the joint. Nothing here. And then cue the second or top greatest scene in the movie, the toe sucking scene.
Yeah.
Where the boyfriend has the shoes on of the person we saw in the high school. And Brittany's like, bite it. And she's talking about her fucking toe. And she's like kicking him in the face. And is like, do it harder. Do it harder. And then Brittany like rips off her top and is like, let's do it. And she's like getting fucking mad, like furious. Like, and cause like now he's like, listen, like, and by the way, rightfully so. He's like, 2 days ago, you said this was not a thing. So
yeah, and now you have your fucking toe shoved down my esophagus.
Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think you're in the right state of mind. And she's like, spare me the fucking violins. And fucking leaves. Leaves. It's such a weird turn for this character who was like, has been innocent this entire time.
Yeah.
But he also knows like her and the teacher, because she's like, I'll get it. She's basically like, I'll get my fix elsewhere. And he's like, are you talking about the fucking teacher? Fair question.
Yeah.
And she's like, so what about it? And he's like, this is not cool. This is not okay. And like, thank God he is questioning this because it'll lead to the reveal at the end. Yeah. Sheriff goes to check the school and he finds the principal. Dude, this scene is like... He finds the principal mutilated. Killed and mutilated. And he has the words... Now, again, this is from the killer that's chasing virgins. He has the words... Dude, fucking Borat. Virgin, not. Carved in his head. In that order. Virgin, not. He is not a virgin. Fucking Borat bits, baby. Virgin not. So they were like, how do we do this with the principal? Meanwhile,
which fucks up the entire investigation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not just killing virgins.
Yeah, that was just killing whoever. Meanwhile, the fuckfest is going on, which has been actually has a proper title. They've hung up a sign there just in case you thought you might have the wrong house. There's a sign outside that says the Pop Your Cherry Ball. Very
crazy.
Fucking vile. Can you think of anything more disgusting?
Dude, the amount of people and how close they were must have stunk.
Bro, absolutely fucking repulsive. Dude, and they've been like partying all night too. Oh my God, I'm gonna be fucking sick thinking about it. Like, it's fucking disgusting.
People, dude. Sweaty ass people.
And what's even crazier is like, this is a mansion. Like, this is a giant house, which by the way, I don't know whose house this is or how they had access to it, but they have this giant fucking mansion. And in the bottom level, like, we open up with them on both floors, like, right? Like a party, right? They're all over the place. Everyone's spread out. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, when Brittany shows up later,
all like sleeping bags.
it's the first floor is empty. So like, there's a ton of space on the first floor. She goes upstairs and it's just everyone on top of each other being like, fucking disgusting. I can't think of anything. Everyone was like, that is literally the South Park to the pile bit. Like, back to the pile. Are you kidding me? Like, they were like, we need to be as close as possible to everyone. Oh my God. I just can't think. Can you imagine that? Like, think of the people we went to high school with and like,
no, disgusting.
Fucking, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm gonna be sick thinking about it. Brittany goes to the teacher's house, Jay Moore's house, who's moving a giant trunk. And she's like, I'll help you. And they're like moving it into the house. He's trying to get it down the stairs. He throws it down the stairs. Like,
no, I actually want to point out, I think Jay's acting, because he's a comedic actor, right?
Yeah.
I think he plays a psychopath pretty well. Just by like his eye, the way that he looks in his eyes, because in the scene where he throws it down, even before we get the reveal, the way that he looks is absolutely like psychotic.
This is the reveal, his expressions in this moment are fantastic, and
they are
unsettling. The way he throws it down, and he's just like, he's got this face, and like we're recording this now. We're probably gonna upload it to Patreon, so I'm making the face to Joe. But like, he's got this face that's just like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like whoopsie doodle, like with a smile on his face.
Throwing anything down a flight of stairs like that is fucking nuts. I would be so uneasy if anyone did that.
Dude, it's like 200 pounds, as we find out. There's a fucking man in it.
Well, and that's the other thing, because she's just like, what's in that? He's like, your dad?
And then he goes, maybe mine? Your dad may be mine. And she's like, and like, by the way, her reaction also fine. Because if somebody said that to me, I don't actually believe them, right? Like, that's such a weird take. I mean, they were just talking about her dad a little bit. So it's like, and he's like, I don't know, your dad? Maybe mine? And both of those things are fucking true statements.
Both are true. And right before that, she was talking about her dad and how like she found out he did something, and he was just like, "Yeah, everyone knows your dad's a cocksucking piece of shit."
Dude, that was crazy. Yeah, we all know your dad's a liar, a piece of shit, scumbag, rapist. Whoops. And she's like, "Yeah, right. I didn't say that, but like,
yeah." Honestly, serious credit to Jay Moore here, because he's unraveling, like the character's unraveling, and he's playing it perfectly.
Yeah. And she goes down, opens the trunk, and her dad is most definitely there.
Yeah.
And we also see Jay Moore's little studio with the wig on a stand, the makeup. So he is our killer. He is dressing up as his mom.
Yes.
To kill people. Jay Moore knocks her out also. Just fucking knocks her lights out right here. She wakes up tied to a medical bed.
Yep.
Jay is telling the dad, he's got them both. Oh, the dad's alive, by the way. The dad's not dead. He's just bound and gagged, which
he's bound and he's bound and gagged. And this is such ridiculous dialogue, but all like in a bad way. And I love it because he's like, tell her the story of what you did. And Brittany's like, you don't need to do that. My mom literally already told me. And he's just like, shut up, I'll fucking kill you.
I actually love that. I thought that was so awesome. That was so good. She's like, no, like, mom explained everything.
Spare me the details. I'm fucking well aware.
It's so fucking good. So, Jay... The dad tells us the same story, right, that we've already heard. Because Jay's like, no, he's going to tell it again. So we get to hear it from the dad's version, but also Jay's version, I guess. Because, like, the dad will say something. He's like, say it the right way. But this time with a flashback.
Also, Jay wasn't there.
Jay was not there.
He can't confirm it's the right or the wrong way.
And also, how does Jay even... I don't think... Like, what... I guess his mom was kind of nutty, we learned. So maybe she told him, but...
No, because she beats the shit out of him.
with, by the way, a cat of nine tails. Like, the sex toy version, not like... Just like a belt, like any other mother would do. She has like a fucking... Like what they whipped Castle Freak with. But that's besides the point. And so we get the whole flashback. It's basically what we heard from the mom, except one tiny detail, which like, okay, this is not funny, right? Rape is not funny. However, the way they frame this with the dad to try to make him innocent but not is so insane and funny, because basically the story is like, Jay Moore's like, no, you definitely raped my mom. And he's like, it wasn't my fault. So you're like, oh, what? What? So he claims he blacked out drunk. And then there's a scene in the flashback where the other guys are like lifting him up and like swinging him into her. Like they're like pushing him, thrusting him into her.
Yeah, like a battering ram.
Like a battering ram, where he then falls asleep on top of her. I don't know the logistics of it. I don't think it's possible, but that is what happened. And it's a weird way to frame this sheriff in a sense of like, well, He's not
that bad.
He's not that bad, but he did do it. And it's like, ooh, like, that's so fucking weird. It's such
Also,
weird...
if that was the case, why wouldn't you cooperate with the investigation and be like, they did that to me? Like,
right, because he's not a good guy, period, right? Like, there's the other part of it, right? So he's not even a good guy because he
helped cover it up.
He covered it up. And so
ruined this girl's life. Yeah.
So it's not like because he didn't do it. Like, he was bad enough just hiding it. Like, just being there, watching, being like, all right. Like, that's fucking bad enough. Like, fucking insane. But yeah. So that's that. We learned that. And Brittany's like, Dad, no. It's like, Brittany, like, he was already a fucking piece. What? He was a fucking asshole anyway. Jay is now in a wig. He's in full makeup. He was getting dressed during that
during the story. Yeah.
And she was like, she was in love with you. My mom was in love with you. Look at all these love letters. Okay. All right. And then, yeah, it's revealed that Jay was whipped with a cat of 9 tails. And then Jay Moore's like,
and he says he was beat because he had the same face of the man that she despised.
Right. And then she's like, we had the same eyes, Dad. All right.
And it zooms in on both their eyes.
Which, by the way, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, Kenny shows up.
Dude, I love when reveals are like that because that means this guy has been plotting this his entire life to the point where he got a teaching degree just to be a teacher in that town, and then wait until the girl's senior year to strike. Is like, why wouldn't he just show up to that town and fucking kill the guy? Right? Why go through all of this?
Become a liberal arts teacher. Yeah. Well, Kenny shows up. And he's like, hey, is she here? And Jay Moore, like, quickly undresses. He has a bathrobe on, but he's, like, clearly guilty of something. Because he's like, hey, why are you here? But also, he's also in the right because guy's like, is whatever Brittany Murphy's character's name is. What is it? Jody? Is Jody here? And Jay Moore's like, it's 12 a.m. No, she's not here. Which you're like, fair. But then Kenny's like, yeah, but her fucking bike's outside. and Jay Moore's like, yeah, she's not though. But Kenny fucking punches him in the stomach, sneaks in and locks the door, man.
Yeah.
What a way to go, Kenny, man. I thought you were useless. He frees Brittany, frees her dad. But Dad gets got by Jay Moore, gets stabbed in the neck, and then proceeds to get axed to death.
He does.
Because Jay Moore has found the cleanest, most chromed out axe I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, by the way, was supposed to be used for... It was shown in a piece of wood outside. It is like a gold-plated axe. I've never seen anything shinier in my life. No one's ever seen an axe on site before. They're like, that looks good. So the dad's dead.
Yeah.
And Jay Moore, the kids run away. They're running towards the sex party, and Jay Moore is following behind them in a wig.
So, I mean, I know he's got to dispose of these two because they revealed his identity,
right.
But there's no need for him to keep killing people.
So, yeah, and again, like, we're talking about people that all just lost their virginity, by the way. So there goes that idea. I mean, like, that already kind of went away, but, like, but that scene kind of fucking rules, too. So the kids run into the sex party and are, like, running through the orgy, which is really just kids dressed, like, rubbing on each other. And then Jay Moore's running in this outfit is so wild. It's actually terrifying. Like, it
is terrifying. It is terrifying.
It's a fucking nightmare. He's like running
like Hall of
high
Fame.
knees. Like an ape. Like an orangutan runs. Like, it's so insane. And then he gets into
he has a Hall of Fame line in here. Like such a perfect B movie.
Oh my god. Like, oh my god.
Class dismissed.
Yo, because the kids run in and no one thinks anything of it. It's just more teenagers. But then Jay Moore comes in a fucking wig holding an axe. Class dismissed! And everyone's like, ah!
I love that. I love it.
The perfect reaction. But then Jay Moore has just got a knife and is just stabbing people at random.
Slashing through the orgy.
Just stabbing. Dude, he must stab like 50 people in that moment, right? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's so insane. He's just cutting them up. And then I also love that they kind of included this a little bit. It was like people trampling each other to get out of the fucking house. Like, it's...
Yes.
It was wild. They get stuck in a staircase, essentially, because kids fall and, like...
It's so crazy that a movie like this has... Because this is, like, the third time we're bringing up something that most movies don't bother to get right. But when you have that many people in a house and something's happening...
You're not going down the stairs.
Dude, that's why they always warn you about, like, knowing your exit, right? Because when something happens, everyone just rushes towards the same area and they just follow the herd and they get stuck like that. And to put that in here is crazy.
It was fucking rough to watch. And again, like, you could have played that up better because, like, honestly, Jay Moore doesn't care about them. We just keep cutting to them struggling to get out of that fucking mass. Jay Moore's just following other people.
Yeah, he could have had a slaughter fest.
Right. And then you could have, like, played that up even a little bit. But ultimately, all those kids end up getting out. They break through. But it's a cool moment. Yeah. Jay catches Brittany, though. Stabs up the boyfriend a little bit. He's done. Him and Brittany have their final showdown, and he is undone by Brittany basically sidestepping him and pushing him out a door, which, that's fine. But then he then proceeds to, like, stumble 10 feet to fall off of a balcony. Which he then flips off of, landing.
He gets fucking impaled.
Impaled on an arm, like it's like a hand railing to the house, but for some reason there's giant wooden spikes on the hand railing. Did not understand that, but that's okay. He gets impaled though, and that's that. He dies, but not before grabbing one of the kids' heads. The kid's like, whoa, he's dead, like goes to touch him, grabs the kid's hair, and then...
because the cop came in right before this happened, but is stopped by the stampeding kids. Like, she's like, let me at the killer, but everyone's just running her over. Right. So she's subdued.
She's like the deputy, right?
Yeah, the one before that's like, what should we do at the party? She's subdued by the kids, but then she only has one gun in that scene. Then she comes out wielding two, and is just fucking double barrel firing at this guy.
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, double gun. They don't give police what the fuck? She pulls out two fucking pistols.
Yeah. Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, fucking Western, puts 18 bullets in this guy.
An impaled man.
Couldn't do anything if he wanted to. And now he's definitely dead. And that's the end. He's fucking gone. Brittany and her mom are being interrogated. This is a weird way to end it for a movie that was like kind of strong on like,
dude,
rape's wrong.
Baffling decision to make them at the end be like, don't know who you're talking about, don't know why he would have done this. Like, still defending her father and the principal and continuing the lie. And which you're right. They're building up to be like, fuck these guys. Like,
yeah,
that should have been the moral of the story, but it just ends with them and holding it.
Especially because, like, right, like the mom and the dad didn't have the best relationship. So, like, if they both decided, like, fuck this guy, like, let's.
Also, he's dead.
And he's dead. Let's tell the fucking truth. Like, let's tell the truth. And instead, and by the way, it's shot as if this is the empowering moment of like the mother and daughter sitting next to each other, like winking at each other, being like, I don't know. Why would he? Like, what?
Yeah.
And the FBI's like, well, I guess case closed.
Actually, saying that out loud takes a point away from this.
It was
very
so
questionable.
Weird. It was such a weird ending to this. And again, I'm not going to blame the writer. I'm not going to blame the director because apparently the studios had a lot of involvement in this once it came time to release it on TV. But like, what a fucking bizarre fucking ending. Like,
yeah, probably because Weinstein was involved. Like, you can't paint these guys.
That's all I had. Is that guy really that bad?
Fucking ridiculous.
He was a cop. It was so weird. It was so weird. And and that's how they leave it. And the FBI is like, and by the way, the FBI is like, well, I guess case closed, but we think you're lying. And then it like cuts to the deputy, who's a female also, and is like, good call, girls. And like the mom and daughter are basically just like winking at each other the entire time. And you're just like, what is happening? Why is this happening? It's insane. And then they leave the police station. You get one last sighting of the teacher across the street. That whole thing where a car passes by and they're gone. Just Brittany's, I guess, visions of this. And that's it. Then we cut to a fucking lake that turns red. That's Cherry Falls, I guess. I guess that's what Cherry Falls is. Because there's like, by the way, it's the smallest like water. It's not even a waterfall. It's like a little drop, right? Like at a pond.
Yeah.
Pond with a wall, like a water retaining level. It's Cherry Falls. And that's the end, man. That's Cherry Falls in year 2000.
Yeah, I mean,
this is what Scream spawned.
Better than what was. I liked it.
No, it's definitely like worth a watch, man. Like they by the way, I pulled up the poster. If I release the video of this, you'll see it. But if I don't, then whatever. I just got to show this to Joe. I thought, this is so funny. For a second, I was like, wow, they really think really highly of themselves. The poster shows like their names at the top, but the color of the first name is like blends in with the background of the poster. So it looks like it says like Murphy, Bean, Qualls, Man, Moore. But their names are there. Their first names are there. So it's like not that. DJ Qualls, have you ever seen a less significant character? Like he's not even in this. He's a background
for him,
extra.
For him to have the middle billing on that.
Qualls.
He's in 2 scenes. He's in the orgy scene. He's in the cafeteria scene.
It's so weird. That's the weirdest poster. But I thought it was just their last names, and I was like, that's so intense for a movie that got released on TV. Fuck, man. That's it, guys. That's Cherry Falls. Next week, we have our live show. We're doing Scary Movie, which will be super fun. Excited about that. So that will be Saturday, the 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Set your alarms. Patreon members, you guys have the discount codes in Patreon to join us. And if you're a Mangle expert, of course, you get in for free. I will open that up on the Friday before the 28th for Patreon members to register for the live show. So make sure you do that. If you need help with that, shoot me an email, Sean@IHateHorror.com. I can kind of help guide you through that. Thank you all for the support. Our downloads were insane for the Scream episodes. A lot of people saying the last Scream episode are best, which, I was surprised. Surprised.
We say it often, but I mean, the support that you guys give and the feedback that you guys give, it's much appreciated.
Yeah, it's insane. Jesus Christ. Like the fucking downloads. God damn. I'm looking at them right now. It's fucking insane for Scream, dude. I don't know what happened. Libsyn changed their shit, so I can't even I can't figure out what I'm even looking at right now. I just see giant numbers. Can I see? Okay, here we go. Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah, that's nuts. So everyone, I appreciate it all. Good a lot of good feedback from that episode. Appreciate you all for that. You know, we don't all have to have the same opinion, but you know, if you want to be wrong and disagree with us, that's fine. So that's it. That's that. JK, guys. JK. So yeah, thank you all for your support. If you want to support us a little bit more, you can go to patreon.com/IHateHorror. We do some fun stuff there. You get access to the live shows if you're in the top tier. We're testing out this video format for the show too. So we're definitely going to release the bonuses in video, maybe release some of the full episodes in video also. Probably just to the Mangle Experts tier. Yeah, that's that. So What else do we have? Joe. Thank you, Joe, for doing the show with me as always. Facebook.com/IHateHorror, IHateHorror.com. You can get your tickets there if you want to join the live show on Saturday. We also have a really small amount of merchandise over there left. I know it's not a ton of sizes, but if you're interested, go check that out. We're at, what did I say? Instagram.com/IHateHorror. Whatever. Figure it out. Joe, where can they find you?
Instagram, Boognish1985.
All right, guys, that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you all so much. And we'll see you, if you're just listening, in a couple weeks. Mango Experts and Patreon, we'll see you Saturday night. And that's it. And for Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird.
Thank you.
Adios.
I dissect movies all fucking day.
I wanna play.
I'm gonna watch what I'm not supposed to watch.
Dismember.
A fucking zombie getting sliced and diced.